I'm sure we've all got some amazing ideas and many actions that we're taking already. I'm sure that we'll hear from the Decarbonized Youth some extra ideas as well. But I'd love to hear what animals, what life you think in the ocean might be affected by climate change. So I'll give you another 10 seconds. If you would like to share an idea in the chat, go ahead. Otherwise, chat with someone next to you. There's lots of animals on the planet. I do see we had some suggestions for things that we already do, like use less plastic, reuse and recycle. Those are all great ideas and ways that we can help all those animals around the planet. But really, no matter what animal you thought of, all animals, all life on the planet can be impacted by climate change. Today, I wanted to focus on one that we might not really think of. It's something that's pretty teeny tiny that we see a lot of in the ocean. Let's take a closer look. Climate change is a big challenge, and it doesn't care how tiny or massive you are. It can affect the survival of all life on the planet. And that means that both plankton and animals as large as whales can be challenged. So we're seeing some zooplankton or zooplankton floating across the screen there, swimming around. But I have a question. What are plankton? What is plankton? I've got a few guesses here. I've got microscopic or very small plants and algae, microscopic, very small animals and organisms, a character from SpongeBob, or all of the above. If you're in a classroom, I'll have you vote with your fingers. So you can show me 1 finger for A, 2 for B, 3 for C, or 4 for D, or you're welcome to share your ideas in the chat. I'm seeing maybe some for 2, lots of 2s I'm seeing, maybe some 4s, maybe some 3s as well. The answer, my friends, is really all of the above, right? They are microscopic, teeny tiny plants and algae and animals, pretty much anything that can't travel against the current. I want you to take a look at all of this zooplankton here, all those animals. I'll give you 5 seconds to point from where you're sitting to the one that you think looks the coolest. Which one do you like the most? There's a lot of really amazing plankton and microscopic life in the ocean, but we're going to see them in phytoplankton, the plant plankton, or zooplankton, the animal plankton. But why are those impressive? Why is plankton so important? Well, I've got another question for you. True or false, plankton can be seen from space. What do you think? We'll vote thumbs up for true, thumbs down for false. What do we think? Ooh, I'm seeing some guesses maybe for false, maybe a few for true. Oh, a lot of falses. In this case, it's true. We can, even though they're super teeny tiny, we get so many of them together. We can see that almost like a big crowd from space. And one challenge for climate change is that as water can warm in the ocean or other conditions change, that can change where we're seeing this plankton growing or which types of plankton we're seeing. And that can be a big challenge for so many animals in the ocean. Even animals such as coral, who make beautiful coral reefs and an ecosystem that supports so many other animals. They love to eat plankton, but who else loves to eat plankton in the ocean? Who else might be affected through plankton by climate change? Well, someone you might not expect. Here along the coast of British Columbia and Canada, and many other places in the world, there's lots of plankton. And that plankton is going to get eaten by larger animals like fish, in this case, herring. Who do you think is going to eat that herring? If you're in class, you can shout out some ideas. You can also share in the chat. Who's going to eat that herring? Here along the coast of British Columbia, we see visitors in the summer. humpback whales. And those are just one of the animals that are going to eat that herring. But even those massive whales are going to have so much of an impact from that plankton. If there's no plankton, or if the plankton changes, that herring might not be there for the humpback to eat. So even those mighty whales can get affected by climate change. And here we have some of those humpback whales actually feeding on some of those herring. And they're actually doing something called bubble net feeding, where they kind of collect a bunch of herring together as a team and eat together. But how can we help whales, coral, and all animals in the ocean? Do you have any ideas? I'll give you 10 seconds to brainstorm with someone next to you. How can we help? How can we make a difference? There are so many ways that we can all make a difference. And I'm going to suggest a few today, but I believe the Decarbonized Youth are going to share some other ideas and ways that they are taking action themselves. But some of these can be things such as buy used clothing, maybe get hand-me-downs from someone else that you can use. Reusing clothing is a great way to have a smaller impact on the planet. Even buying local, maybe try some new local foods that are grown nearby. Or just like we're all doing today, tell your school, tell your friends, tell your family why this is such an important problem for us to solve. Climate change isn't going to be solved by just one of us. We need everyone to work together. And we also really need to call on people or companies and governments with more power than us to make a difference. So we need that urgent climate action from all levels of society. We also really need to protect important habitats that life like plankton and herring and coral and humpback whales can all thrive and return to sustainable numbers. But we also need to empower youth, and that's exactly what these Decarbonized Youth are really helping do. And I'm really excited that I get to be a part of this program today to help us all empower each other to make a difference together. So I'd like to say thank you so much. It's amazing to be able to be here and connect with you all today. And I'm excited to hear what questions or connections all of us have. So thank you all so much. I'll throw back to the Decarbonized Youth.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much for being here as all these so important issues and to sharing these tips on how we can help and how we can act. Because even though we are young, we can help. We can do things today. And thank you so much for all of your informative presentation about climate change and how it's affecting every we can do change now. So moving on to our next slide, we're going to do some trivia questions with you guys. And the first question we have for you is, which plant in the sea is most affected by climate change? Letter A, phytoplankton. Letter B, kelp. Letter C, red algae. And letter D, seagrass. We'll give you guys a couple of seconds to answer. I see some comments here. Letter C. So I don't know if the red algae, must that be it? We don't know. I think we're having some technical issues. I don't know if the question, the pool has appeared to you. Okay, so letter C. So no one got it right, and the correct answer was seagrass. So moving on to the next question. Thank you.
Okay. How many tons of plastic?
Just to
Okay. How many tons of plastics are found in the ocean yearly? A. 20 million, B. 5 million, C. 11 million, and D. 1 billion. Let's wait a little bit for the answers to come in.
let me see in the chat. Let me see my answer. Okay. So we'll give you guys some more time to answer. Has everyone answered? Okay, so let's see your answers.
Alright. Okay. Okay. So majority of the answers were D, with the least being A. Let's see the correct one. Okay, the correct answer is 11 million. Props to those who to those who got it right.
Congratulations. And the next question is, how much has the sea risen in the past 100 years? Letter A, 6 to 8 inches. Letter B, 2 to 5 inches. Letter C, 4 to 6 inches. Or letter D, 5 to 8 inches. So many of you may think this is not so much because like 6 inches is not much, but thinking of the Earth surface, it is a lot. So let's take a look into your answers and see which of you got it right. So we see a lot of letter B's, C's, and A's. And the correct answer is letter A, 6 to 8 inches. Congratulations to those who got it right. And our next question and final question.
Okay. How many rhinos are left worldwide? 18,000, 27,000, 24,000, or 10,000? Let's wait a little bit.
So thank you for your answers. Let's see how you guys did it. And the correct answer is
27,000. In a span of 100 years, we lost 475,000 rhinos.
we see.
Looks like both A and D got a tie in the answers.
Congratulations for all of you that answered our questions. We hope that you liked it, and we hope that you guys learned some of those trivia questions that we prepared for you. And now we're going to pass to our friends Vince and Talia. That are going to talk a little bit about their climate stories. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi. So before we do our climate stories, we have someone with us, Ms. Joanna Hacker from Greenhouse Communications, and we are here to ask questions about her story here in COP.
Hi, so where are you from and why are you in COP? Okay, so I'm from London and I run a business called Greenhouse Communications that work with clients who are all tackling the climate emergency. So we work with good banks, we work with people in the fashion industry, nature-based solutions, food companies that are all trying to do the right thing and change the systems that they're working in.
Thank you. For the second question, what are you most looking forward here in COP?
I'm most looking forward to the fact that we can really hear youth voices for the first time. The Youth Pavilion, both in the Blue Zone, but also at the Climate Forward events, out here at the Hangout, you can really feel the youth movement And I know it's not as simple as just you, because that's, you know, an enormous diverse group of people, but I think you can feel the energy around young people much more than you have at previous COPs.
Thank you. So how do you want to see COP end?
I want to see COP end with some, well, for me, it's not about the ending. I think I want to see it end with actual commitments. But then what we really need to happen is this time next year for them to have actually been stuck to. So we need new massive investment in nature. We need to actually commit to making some changes, and we need to know that that's going to happen this year, because last year compared to this year, not a huge amount has changed.
Yeah. For the last question, since we have children all over the world here, do you have anything to say to them?
Don't give up. Be optimistic. There's plenty to be hopeful for.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ms.
No
Joanna.
worries.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Okay. So now we'll be sharing our climate stories, and I'll be the first one to do so. Magandang araw, mabuhay. Ako si Vince Palyera mula sa Pilipinas. Hi everyone, I'm Vince Palyera. I'm a student from the Philippines. The Philippines is known to be a tropical paradise just right beside the Pacific Ocean. There are many beaches, shores, filled with all types of fish and sea animals. But with that comes the strong storms causing extreme damage to my country. Just recently, we were hit by Typhoon Paeng, who caused major flooding in the islands of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. More than 150 people died, and 100,000 had to be rescued from their homes, with a total damage costing the whole Philippines 5.6 billion pesos. Such storms put the Filipinos' health, their homes, their livelihood, and eventually the country's economy at a huge risk. Climate change is real and we have caused it. That's why to take back what we have done, like its effects to the Philippines, we must advocate, support, and be persons for change who wants to give justice to our climate. We can do this in many ways, and we start with what we are doing now. Our world is drastically changing, and if we don't act now, we are risking the Philippines and eventually the whole world to being a place that is inhabitable for us and for the future generations.
Thank you, Vince. Assalamu alaikum. أنا اسمي تاليا وأنا من مصر. Hi, my name is Talia and I'm from Egypt. I'm going to be talking to you guys about how climate change is affecting my people and my country. Egypt was truly a beautiful country before climate change and global warming and air pollution hit. Egypt was full of beautiful plants, places, etc. There are millions of climate issues in Egypt, but there's one I will specifically be talking to you about today. Egypt is extremely vulnerable to rising sea levels. A 3-millimeter rise occurs annually. People are deeply affected by this. Because of rising sea levels, there's flooding. People are losing their homes, and crops die, as well as animals. This is because of global warming. We demand that the government reduces the use of emissions immediately to stop this climate crisis. Since when sea levels rise, it's irreversible. We need a new strategy. We need a decision to be made. A secure tomorrow isn't promised. So if we don't make a change, who will?
Thank you. So that's our climate story, and that's all from us. Now let's bring it back to Jana and Olivia. Hi guys, we're back. Actually, there's someone who wants to get interviewed again. Actually, not again. So we
to do an interview.
okay. So we have here Rebecca Moon. She's also part of the Decarbonize team. Okay, so we're asking the same questions we asked Miss Joanna earlier. So
You'll have to repeat them.
okay,
So where are you from and why are you in COP?
Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining all of these students today. My name is Rebecca. I'm from Canada. You can probably tell by my lanyard. I'm in COP because I have helped organize this Decarbonize program. So just as the kids are trying to wrap up, I said, give me a moment. I just want to talk about Decarbonize for a quick second. So any of the students watching, if you're wondering what these shirts are standing for, Decarbonize is an international program where we bring students from around the world together to learn about the climate, to share their stories with each other, and then to gather at COP, which is happening in Egypt this year, and share their ideas of climate with the world. So I'm lucky enough to be able to organize all of these amazing students and bring them here and help them do these live events with people like you. So that is what I'm doing in COP.
okay. For the second question, what are you most excited for here in COP?
I would say the thing that I'm most excited for, number one, was this event, which is going really great. So congratulations to everyone. Number two would be to see our students presenting in the blue zone. So the blue zone is an area at the conference where only really big names and important delegates get to go, and they get to talk about climate issues and talk about making laws, and our students actually get to present there. So getting to watch those presentations is great. And watching those presentations is extra wonderful because I get to hear everybody's climate stories. I'm sure that even the students joining today have experienced things about climate change in their own homes. And those are very interesting climate stories. So I'm sure lots of you have seen droughts or floods or fires or loss of plants and animals, right? Loss of food. Those are all things that have to do with climate change. So I just love hearing those stories, and that's what I'm most looking forward to.
And for the third question, how do you want to see COP end?
I think coming out of COP, the most important thing that I would like to see is amplifying youth voices. So what that means is when we go to COP and when we hear all of these ideas about climate, they're always old people's ideas. You know, you hear all these old people sit down and say, we need to do this and that, and they make all these rules, but they don't listen to kids like you or kids like we have here. So I think coming out of COP, I would love to see governments, local governments, national governments, the United Nations make more of an effort to share student voices. Our students have so many amazing things to say about climate change. They have so many demands about climate change, ideas about what's important to them. Just a couple ideas out of their youth paper. They want food and lunches for students in schools. How many of you guys would like to have free lunches in your schools every day? Yes, that would be amazing. I know I like free lunches. Okay. They want to make sure that they have a protected food production so that when our farmers are dealing with things like droughts, they have the money to protect their land so that our farmers can still make a living even though we have all of these climate emergencies. I think taking these ideas and giving them a space to share them, that's what I would like to see come out of COP. Because I know you guys might think, well, I'm just a kid, I can't make any ideas, but like, we've made ideas and we're sharing those ideas. So I think coming out of COP, I would like to see some new legislation and new policies that allows children's voice to be heard.
Okay, now for the last question. Since we have children from all over the world here, do you have anything to say to them?
What a great transition from what I was just saying. Yeah, so I do. And I think I kind of overheard your last speaker. My ideas are similar to hers. You can make a difference. So if you have joined this meeting today, it's because I hope you're interested in climate action. So I would like to say to all of you, you can all make a difference. Just the few sessions that I've had a chance to sit in on here, I've heard a lot of people say that they want to hear from children. They want to hear from youth around the world. So people are interested in your ideas and interested in your story. So take the time to share those ideas, right? If you guys are interested in this stuff, programs like this exist, Decarbonize exists, right? Talk to your teacher about getting involved in Decarbonize and getting a platform to share those ideas. Because I've been saying to everybody around here, there is nobody that is as passionate and excited about life and about making change as children, right? Old people were so jaded and we're like, the world sucks. But like young people, you guys like have all of these great ideas and passion. So please share that with as many people as you can, okay? Spread the word, make a difference. I believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Welcome.
Mr. Rebecca.
Thank you for having me. It was so nice to meet you both.
Nice meeting you too. Okay, now we're going to Jana and Olivia.
Hello everyone, we're back with some questions and answers. We're interviewing Vince. So do you want to start? All right, so we're interviewing Vince with some questions. How has climate change affected your life?
Climate change has affected my life drastically because, as I've said earlier, in the Philippines, we get so much storms. Just this October, we got 5 storms. And 5 storms in a month is too much because from the latest typhoon, we got like a cost of 5.6 billion. Imagine if all the typhoons are like that. It's going to cost us an estimate of 30 billion a month just for typhoon damages. And where do we get the funds for recovery? Coming from a third world country, it's very hard that we have so much to offer, but then because of these calamities, we get so pulled back and we have to focus on letting the people recover, which in my country is still not happening because, as I said earlier, the ones who were rescued, they don't have anything to go back to anymore. Like they went out of their house because they wanted to save their life, but now they don't have a house to go back to. So being imagine not having a home anymore because of these calamities that are not under their control. And so that's how it affects me, especially the people in the Philippines.
Okay, thank you, Vince, for sharing that. We go to the next question. That is, has your daily life changed after learning about climate change?
Daily life has changed so much after learning about climate change, because if it hasn't, why would I be here? Like, imagine these are like the students I've never even met before, and now I'm with them. And because of knowing about climate change, I also had this kind of a change in my lifestyle. Actually, my whole family had this change in lifestyle, that now we know what to do. Like, we consume less because we know that a lot of people are starving, and we also try to lessen our carbon emission because we know that it affects climate change. The change we want to do, it starts with the little things, and these small things, if we combine them, they make up a great sum. So it's something that we must start in the grassroots level.
I totally agree with that. These small things will change a lot of things in our life. So our next question is, how has climate change affected what you consume on a daily basis?
Oh, as I've said, in the Philippines, there's a lot of storms, and the Philippines is a very agricultural country. So because of these storms, crops are not getting sold, and the farmers are being affected as well. So with that, I've chosen. Actually, it's a choice. So I've chosen to consume less so that I know that all of us can have something on their tables, and also it's somehow helping the farmers as well, because in the Philippines, when there is crop, when there are stocks, it's not getting sold, it's not getting buyed. So they have this overflow, and it turns into waste. So with knowing what you can consume and with knowing what you can offer to your table, you know that you are not consuming too much and that everyone has food on the table eventually.
Thank you, Vince. We're going to our last question. That is, what are some things you can change in your country to raise awareness for climate change?
Well, in my country, climate change is still overlooked, if you must. A lot of people they know about climate change, but then it's just knowledge, and knowledge without action is nothing. So what we need in the Philippines is to amplify more voices of the youth, and that's what I and my co-delegate from the Philippines, Irene, is doing, and also by localizing these actions, these knowledges, we can, like in the Philippines at least, we can let people know that there is a problem. It's one great problem that will eventually, if we don't do anything about it, will end the world. So in the Philippines, I hope that the voices of the youth, because and at the end of the day, it's our home in the future that's on the line.
Well, perfect. That's all. Thank you, Vince, for sharing your amazing
Thank you
story.
for having me.
If you guys have any questions of your own that you'd like to drop in the chat box, we'd be really happy to answer. Or on camera. Well, so we have no questions.
It looked like there was one.
Oh, there's a question, Daphne.
Yes, there was a question,
Yes.
a great question that a class is wondering, what if, like, can whales be carbon sinks? Are whales carbon sinks? And a carbon sink is when something is going to take carbon, or say that's coming from carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and take that away. So that's a way to actually fight climate change. And the ocean actually holds a lot of carbon or carbon dioxide. But if there's too much of it, that means that we can actually get ocean acidification, or it can change the chemistry of the ocean and make it hard for animals to survive. And whales, yes, they are an excellent carbon sink. They are massive, massive animals and hold a lot of carbon. We ourselves are a carbon sink if we were to, get buried or something like that. So we can actually hold a lot of carbon in our bodies as well. But whales, when they pass away, they can actually sink to the bottom of the ocean. And that's a way to remove that carbon from that area of the ocean and kind of hide it from contributing to climate change. So yes, whales are an excellent form of carbon sink. And I'm so excited that you all have wonderful questions and connections. And like all the youth were sharing, there's so many ways that we're all impacted by climate change, no matter where we live. Even the plankton that we talked about earlier, it affects us no matter where we live, and it affects the food that we eat as well. So I'm really excited to hear all of the wonderful voices that we've had shared today. And just like those decarbonized youth and Rebecca were saying, we all need to kind of raise our voices and show those, older folks that these are the things that we want. These are the things that we want for our future. So thanks.
Well, we have a question to you, Daphne. That is, what inspired you to join OceanWise?
Great question. I realized that when I was in university, I really enjoyed the ocean and I loved learning about it. And what I loved most about it was telling other people how important it is and how much I loved it. So I ended up going into kind of the education side of things, but I love doing that because it's a way for me to share what I know with others, to hopefully empower them to take action, to fight for positive change for the ocean and the rest of the planet, just like we're all doing today. So yes, there's lots of different ways to get involved, but I started with volunteering opportunities originally. So volunteering or any kind of way that you can start a small job is a great way to go.
So would you like to say anything for the kids and the youth of the world?
For me?
Yes.
I'd say my last thing is we all are in this together, and it's really inspiring for myself, for organizations like OceanWise, and for so many others to hear all of the amazing things that you're all doing and that you hope to see for the planet. Because without you there to remind us all of what we're working towards, we can lose our path. So thank you all so much for being those voices to remind us of what's important and what we need to achieve together.
Thank you too. So
Are we sure we don't have any questions?
any questions? Okay, we got our teammates.
If there are no questions,
Thank you for joining, all of you, all the
Guys, it's
colleges.
Joy.
Bye.
Thank you.
You guys can leave the camera on and wait.
We have a question before everyone leaves. We
Okay.
don't want to leave someone without a question. So the question is, though climate change is harmful to the environment, are there any advantages to climate change?
Are there any advantages to climate change? Advantages on what?
I personally don't think so, no.
Yeah, I
I
think
think there are not.
I think
any
climate change is something that's it's
really bad for our planet.
yeah. I think climate change is happening too fast,
Yeah.
but we can't do anything about it unless we act on it now.
So that's it. Thank